Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, December 31st, the last day of 2020, and the last update of 2020. I'll try not to get too emotional about it. I don't think that's going to be a problem. But as we come to the end of our calendar year, we always celebrate on the first day of the calendar year the Solemnity of Mary, the Mother of God. So I'm getting ready for that this evening. So our schedule for that solemnity, although it's not a holy day of obligation, obviously, since everyone's still dispensed from the obligation to attend Mass, we have a 4:30 p.m. Mass here at St. John the Baptist this evening. And then on Friday, on New Year's Day, there's 8:45 a.m. Mass at St. Michael's and 10:30 Mass at St. John's. So it kind of follows our weekend schedule, which means that on Saturday, January 2nd, we'll be back with confessions at 3 o'clock at St. John the Baptist going until 4:15, then a 4:30 Mass on Saturday evening at St. John's. And then on Sunday, there's confessions at St. Michael's from 8 to 8:30 and Mass at 8:45 a.m. and then a 10:30 Mass on Sunday morning at St. John the Baptist. So it's kind of that same schedule. Tonight 4:30, tomorrow 8:45 and 10:30. Saturday 4:30, Sunday 8:45 and 10:30. So hopefully everyone will have a wonderful end of 2020 and a welcome in of 2021. In the church, we're still within the octave of Christmas, but we also remember a saint today, Saint Sylvester I, who was a pope in the 4th century. In fact, he's kind of the pope at the time when Christianity becomes legal under the Emperor Constantine. And so it's interesting, in my Butler's Lives of the Saints, they talk more about what Constantine did with the church than St. Sylvester. I think part of that is because there's not a lot that's known. There is a 5th century or 6th century document about him, but they think it's kind of over-romanticized and exaggerated. It doesn't seem that Pope St. Sylvester I and the Emperor Constantine had a real close relationship. Although, Constantine did a lot for the church at that time. So Pope St. Sylvester I becomes Pope in 314, and that's just a couple years after the Edict of Toleration is enacted. And so that didn't make Christianity the official religion of the Roman Empire, but it did grant it legal status so that it was not illegal to be a Christian anymore. So a lot of the things that we, I kind of lost my train of thought. Sorry about that. So since it's now legal, the church doesn't have to worry about persecutions that had been coming and going under various emperors during those first couple centuries. And so the Emperor Constantine also, too, builds the first a church for St. Peter at the present site of St. Peter's Basilica. He builds the original one, the one we have now, was a few hundred or about 1,000 years later, was constructed on that same site. Also, too, he gives the Lateran Basilica to the Pope as his cathedral. And so Pope St. Sylvester I is the first Pope to use that the Lateran Palace or Lateran Basilica as his cathedral and have his chair there, the cathedra. And still, the Lateran Basilica is the Pope's cathedral in Rome. St. Peter's Basilica is is like a worldwide church, I guess a universal church, you might say. I always usually use the example of in Washington, D.C., there's the National Shrine of the Basilica of the Immaculate Conception. That's not the Archbishop of Washington, D.C.'s cathedral. St. Matthew's Cathedral is it. So it's kind of that same situation in Rome, too, then. And so Pope St. Sylvester is Pope for 21 years. He dies in 335. During that time, though, too, one of the things that happens is that the capital of the Roman Empire is moved from Rome to Constantinople, to the new Rome that Constantine builds. And so Rome has that primacy in the church, but the political center of the empire moves east. And also, too, during that time, there are the first kind of ecumenical councils are called within the church. The big one being the Council of Nicaea. So the creed that we say on Sundays, the Niceo-Constantinopolitan Creed, part of that comes from that Council of Nicaea as they dealt with the Arian heresy that was kind of tearing the church apart at that time. So Pope St. Sylvester, as I said, was kind of that first pope that enjoys, in a way, the freedom of Christianity, and also too we see that there's that the Emperor Constantine shows a lot of favor to the church too, and provides for it a variety of locations and churches and things like that we are still using today. So, or at least the locations of, maybe not the churches themselves, but and the fact that Pope St. Sylvester reigns for 21 years, that's kind of an indication too. He doesn't die as a martyr. Many of the popes prior to him would have had very short reigns, and many of them would have died as martyrs. So we want to ask for his intercession as we close out this year of our Lord 2020 and look forward to beginning the year of our Lord 2021. So we'll continue to look out and pray for one another, and I pray that God will bless you abundantly this day.